From the darkest corners of Tumblr comes a podcast where we take two of your favorite fictional characters, get them together, and ask, do we ship it? Hey guys, welcome back to Ships in the Night. I'm excited to be back. I'm full of turkey, even now, like 5 days later. How are you, Greg?
I'm the master of Cyber Monday. I sent all of my credit card information over the internet to all the companies that need my money.
Greg, it's Tuesday.
That's why I'm still the master of Cyber Mondays, because no one else is vying for the position.
That's Greg Goodness over there.
And that's Zach Wilson. We are your hosts, but we're not the only ones in the studio today.
Yes, we want to welcome to the podcast today comedian, writer, producer, Susan Sassi. Susan, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here. This is so much fun already.
We are going to get romantic with some bizarre crossover ships that our audience has gleefully provided for us to depravenly dissect. Let's get into this first one. It's Ron Burgundy from Anchorman. And then it's Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City.
I was trying to do the theme song.
It was good. I liked it.
I don't think I did a good job, but thank you.
Greg's the one who knows it better.
Greg, you do it.
I have unironically watched the entire Sex and the City series.
Oh.
See, Greg's the Sex and the City fan. I'm more of a Gilmore Girls man myself.
My parents love Sex in the City. It's really awkward. Try not to be in the room when they're watching that.
Well, you got to find out who your mom is. Is she a Carrie or a Miranda? But really, what is Ron Burgundy? That's the important question.
Well, I think we're going to make
That's
the argument
a good
here.
question. What is he?
I think he's a Carrie. I think that he is at least going to hook up with a Carrie in this scenario.
Well, Susan, what's your first reaction hearing this? I mean, there's obviously the journalist angle to these two falling for each other.
Yeah, at first it didn't even occur to me. Greg had to point out they were both journalists. And be like, oh yeah, that's right, they are. But they're two different kind of journalists.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that giving Carrie the title of journalist is that's a pretty generous.
Yeah, she's a columnist. She's a columnist.
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
She's really a writer. I would say she's a writer.
Yeah. But
she doesn't do like news. She doesn't research and report on facts. He's like the news.
That's true, but Ron Burgundy doesn't really investigate either. So they're both on different sides of the spectrum.
You're right.
For Ron, I think that's a positive.
Yeah.
Because that was a huge problem for him especially the first movie, was the competition angle.
Yeah.
But he's not competing with Carrie, but she is in a world that they both would understand.
Yeah, but Ron Burgundy has the ego of Samantha.
He's clearly had some work done.
There's definitely going to be some tension between two people who need to be at the center of a crowd.
Yeah.
Whether they can be at the center together, we're just going to have to find out. I think we got to figure out what the Meetcute is.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's only one logical thing. It's a New York social gathering of like people in the news field, right? Or maybe an award ceremony.
Yeah. We might as well just bring it into the modern era. And guys, we know it's hard out there for columnists right now. It's hard out there for news people, and like every corner of the internet is just shutting down and firing people left and right.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder if maybe these two are like, Ron Burgundy's, what's this BuzzFeed I keep hearing about? I wonder if, do you think that they're hiring over there?
That was a good Ron Burgundy.
If this is a Ron Burgundy, like plus 20 years or so, I think that's right up Carrie's alley. So this is a like mid 50s or early 60s Ron Burgundy.
Wow. Oh shit, two silver foxes getting together. Oh, and this is so beautiful.
Wow.
Well, it's not two silver foxes. This is Carrie Bradshaw in her like 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
And Ron Burgundy like 20 years older than her.
Yeah.
Which, look, Carrie's into that. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So I see this as like Carrie is sniffing out a story, right? She is like, oh, well, I got to figure out like, what was it like being a man back in the day in the big sexy newsrooms of New York City?
Oh, does it start as an interview?
Oh, yeah, I can totally see that. She goes to interview him, and meanwhile, Ron Burgundy is like, ooh, I see. So this young up-and-comer wants a veteran in the newsroom. Yeah. So they're both going out of like, Carrie is looking at him for a story and also like maybe a romantic interest. And Ron Burgundy is like, this is a job interview. She wants me on her team.
And like Carrie's interviewing him about shoes.
Maybe she even, and the interview slowly turns into like, what was like, there was a lot of like, sexual harassment back in the 70s, and Ron Burgundy's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
We ran a very clean living room, a very clean newsroom.
I am happy to talk about my shoes, though. These are alligator suede. Like, they would absolutely. That's whatever story they started on. That's what this devolves into.
Yeah.
Is Carrie is like, I love that suit. He's like, yes, 95% polyester. He has those super loud outfits. I feel like that's something that she would be super
Because she has loud outfits and he has loud outfits. Can you imagine everybody staring at them at a coffee shop together?
Oh my God. They get into in this interview, Ron Burgundy is like, I need to go change. Like,
they're wearing the same thing.
They both come in a blue pantsuit. Royal blue pantsuit.
And Ron's like, I have to change.
I can't be the one in the quieter outfit here. I need to be the louder one. And then, of course, it's like a tit for tat.
Yeah, and then he comes back and they're both in the same outfit again. They both change.
This is a great 2-minute bit in the middle of the movie. So the question is, these two are very, they all might be even more of a draw for attention together than apart.
Yeah.
And I think that, look, Ron Burgundy is not the sharpest tool, but he is smart enough to notice when something is working.
Yeah.
And I think they'll both pick up on the fact that they're doing better and they're more popular together.
Yeah,
I think that drives this relationship forward.
I think he's going to want to go shopping with her, and I think that's going to be like sex to her ears. Shopping?
Yeah.
You're a man and you like shopping?
He likes to talk about his hair.
Oh, yeah, and she loves hair.
He knows all about her product, and he's like, we must respect the hairline. And
I had an idea back to where she's interviewing him about things being like they were sexual harassment there. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, your hand's on my leg.
So it is.
Why, this is just a friendly get-to-know-you hand. Yeah.
We used to call this the interview hand.
And she's like, this is sexual harassment. He's like, no.
Carrie starts up a column like, can a hand on a thigh just be a hand on a thigh? Or can it be something more? This is part of a 16-part series that I need to investigate.
Honestly, the beginning and middle of this relationship, I think, goes really well for these two. At the very least, they're hitting all of the top social trends. They're jet setting across the country. So she's getting to spend time in Southern California. He's getting to spend time in New York in front of bigger news outlets. While
and
he tries to get national.
I think she likes the sexual harassment because it makes her feel sexy.
I mean, let's be real.
She's that generation of women, right?
I'm glad you said it.
I'm a woman saying it. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm that woman. I like being sexually harassed. I admit it. I'm so sorry.
No, this is great because this is Carrie is writing about this the entire time. She's like, oh, this is a window into the past of what dating used to be before New York got in the way and made things crazy.
We're women. We're confident with our sexuality.
And meanwhile, Ron Burgundy has no idea this is going on because Ron's like, I don't read. Whatever you're putting down in your little notebook tablet thing.
What are you talking about? He has many leather-bound books.
But those are all for show. Ron
you are typing on that computer thing. What is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a paper, but it's thicker. And what? That's a computer?
I don't like it. Doesn't make you look feminine at all.
I don't think he minds that she's like, I mean, look, he has to get used to it. That's part of like the first movie, but I
Yeah.
don't think he minds that his woman is like working. It's as long as it doesn't interfere with
As
what
long
he's
as-
doing.
Yeah, because she was stealing his spotlight. That was the problem.
So I think these two might be perfect for each
Yeah.
other.
They can help
Bizarrely.
each other's spotlight, right?
I mean, I'm having trouble seeing any like rocks in this like in the storm, like or whatever phrase I'm looking for here.
Here's where I see a bump in the road coming up. Is I think once Ron Burgundy has someone read aloud to him all of Carrie's like columns and entries, is like, wait, you've been saying that I'm old-fashioned? Like,
Yeah, that would hurt his
not with the
feelings.
times. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just the other day, I took you to a jazz saloon. Like,
You're sleeping on the couch tonight.
yeah, exactly.
And tomorrow I'm moving in with my mother.
You don't appreciate my jazz flute.
I love jazz flute.
Yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, she's like, yeah, I don't know. I was just looking for someone a little more contemporary, like maybe playing a synthesizer or something. Electronic music? What, you think Ron Burgundy can't rap? I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm here to say that you're a bitch in a major way.
Oh. There's
I
no coming back from that B word with Carrie.
No,
He's
however,
out.
I don't think that Carrie's into EDM, as you were just implying.
Yeah, what's EDM?
Electronic dance music.
Carrie has 1,000,000% gone to the Electric Daisy Carnival, dropped some Molly, and then wrote a column after like, am I a rave kid? So guys, they hit this little bump in the road. Like, are they able to come back from it?
I'm not sure. Carrie is tough to please. She jumps to judgment very quick.
And like Mr. Big has always been like her guy. Like she never really gives people a full chance because of him. I got that feeling from the series. I don't know if that's true. Like because she was with Aiden and he was the perfect guy, and she's like, but he's not big. So I think Ron's got to not only overcome that, but he's got to overcome Mr. Big.
So I don't know. It's a tough call.
I'm gonna have to go with Susan on this. Like, listen, Carrie has an completely irrational devotion to Mr. Big. As someone who watched the series, I'm like, what is it, Mr. Big? Is it because he's rich? Like, is that it? Is that really all it takes? But I think
He's
that,
like the one for her, you know?
yeah, I think
And
that
it is irrational. She should go to therapy about it.
But that's the big thing, is that there is an irrationality to that character, and maybe it's just that look, that there's
But you know
there's
what?
a fate.
Symbolically, he represents big love, like that we all hold out for and that we dream.
He's
Mr.
Mormon?
Big. Not Big Love,
saw
the
that
TV
episode.
show, but like the big love, the dream of the true big love ideal that we have, right?
Yeah, and I guess it is. And look, we're writing fan fiction right
Yeah.
now, and like part of that is just knowing the characters, and that
Yeah.
like even as much as like there was some really hot nights that were like that flute got tooted in a new way.
Maybe he used the flute, if you know what I'm saying.
What he tried out in rock and roll. What were you guys talking about?
I'm Ron Burgundy, and I'm here to say I'm apologizing to you in a major way.
But I think that these two had some very, very sexy nights. There were some next level mustache rides for Carrie. But she's gonna wind up back with Mr. Big. That's how her story goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, for the question, do we ship it? Like, for me, absolutely.
Ship it. I want
wanna
to see this movie.
Yeah,
Let's write it right now.
This is a great Sex in the City arc. Like,
Yeah.
I'm totally on board with it that she's getting with the old-timey newscaster
Yeah.
guy. But
Yeah.
can it work out long term? I don't see it. But yes, I do 1,000 times ship it.
I ship it, and in the way that like they're gonna break up on the show,
Yeah.
and as long as the show is going, I will be that guy in the back. But she was better off with Ron Burgundy. Like I'll ship it way after they're both with other people. Like, this show jumped the shark. Ron. But yeah, Susan, you ship it.
I ship it.
All
I
right.
want to see. I greenlight it and I ship it.
We ship it, and also I think this is something Will Ferrell would do if we got it to him and somehow secured the Sex and the City rights from HBO.
Yeah.
So let's get started on that. While we start our letter writing campaign to HBO Max, we're going to take a quick break and then come back with our next very groovy ship. Stick around. And we're back, and it's time for the next ship. And this one we're gonna go undercover, if you will, as we ship James Bond, the consummate man's man of international spying and being a mystery person, up against the international man of mystery, one and only Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby.
All right, Susan, you got it first.
I'm so excited for this one. Okay.
So what do you think?
Well, what I think is Austin had to go through so much shit to update his image and be a new person. And then he runs into James Bond, who is like a womanizer. And well, that's my impression of him. I've never really studied the movies, but I imagine he's like always sleeping with the ladies, and every movie it's a new lady. And here he is like, at first maybe he's kind of hates him a little bit. Like, I had to do all this. And you're still sleeping with all the girls.
Oh my God. I love like woke Austin Powers. It's like, listen, man, you have some really retrograde images about women. I think we really need to work on that for you.
I mean, Austin Powers
Shagadelic.
After he's gone through all of the stuff in his movies to like get up to date. Yeah, he's way like more woke than James Bond, who is even up to modern. Daniel Craig Bond, like he's still a womanizer at the end of the day. Like Daniel Craig, they did some work to make him better.
Yeah.
But he's not all the way there.
Now Austin's the voice of reason.
Listen, Bond, all the women that you sleep with seem to die, and that's just not groovy. Oh my God.
Although that does happen to Austin Powers too.
Yeah.
They just die off screen between movies.
Or become a fembot, one of the two.
Yeah.
Then what is the meet cute between these two?
They just wind up, they have to be put on a mission together.
Yeah, they're on
a
mission together. I see that happening. And just working together as a team just is really, I think it's where everybody falls in love in rom-coms, when you're forced to be together.
Oh yeah, it's the classic.
Oh my God, they're like sleeping on the beach together at night because they're storming something in the morning or the wee hours.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is the classic, like, Hallmark movie, like, we have to we're vying for the same promotion, so that we're being forced to work together, and whoever does better is gonna earn the title. It starts as a competition, and then they fall for each other, but they still have to work against each other. How will it end?
MI6 is like, listen, James Bond, you're the best in the field, but we also noticed you're a huge womanizer. So we're going to put you with someone who's already gone through a bit of wokeness training. We'd like you to meet Austin Powers.
The door opens and he just turns in a giant blue, like, tie-dye suit.
Yeah, baby. Listen, women in the workplace are groovy.
And then I can see in the movie, maybe they have a swap. Like, something happens and now James Bond is woke and Austin's like, screw this, I'm going back to being a party, baby.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, that's like, that's your your dark moment of
the dark moment of the soul when they both like...
Well, maybe that's the thing, is like they find out there's like some unknown madman, right, holding the world hostage with nuclear weapons. And they're like going out and they're doing their thing and they're sleuthing. And then they find out, it's like, oh my God, it's Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
So this like mad person that they're after, it's like, oh my God, the person that...
What if the same thing happens with Dr. Evil and a Bond villain? Like, they're like...
Goldfinger.
Yeah. They're like, all right. I don't know. You're not creating weird enough situation, so we brought in another supervillain to work with you on this.
It's a mirror scenario. There's a whatever. Like it's the
wife swap of international spy agencies.
The wife swap. I love it.
Oh
so like Bond has to work with Dr. Evil and Austin has to work with a regular evil
Oh my
dude.
god, that's like that's like season 20 of this show when they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's the America's Next Top Model cycle, Boys in the House. But I think to start off with, yes, we may be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
But this first season is Bond and Austin versus Dr. Evil and Goldfinger.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just two sets of mismatched hijinks going on. Dr. Evil's lowballing his demands. Goldfinger is just he just can't with this guy.
Deal with this.
Yeah.
You're lowballing your demands, and you spent all that money to put lasers on sharks' heads. You know, I mean, that's like just bad business right there.
Yeah. Austin and Bond break into the evil fortress of Goldfinger, and it's just gold everywhere. Austin's like, "This is amazing, so groovy, baby. Oh, shagadelic. Women love gold." Like, he's like, "No, it's supposed to be nefarious." Austin's like, "This gives me an idea of what I'm going to do in my third movie."
So these two are on mission together to get back to them.
Yeah.
I want to know how they hook up the first time. I love the beach scenario. Like, is it just that like they're huddled together for warmth in the?
Yeah, maybe it's cold. They just got out of the water because I don't know. They had to scuba dive to the secret lair.
That sounds right.
And they're all wet, so they have to take off their.
Oh man, and that's when
chest hair bursting out of the scuba suit.
Cut against the Daniel Craig shot from Casino Royale where he's wearing like basically just boxer briefs coming out of the water.
Yeah. I think they might have done the scuba thing in one of the Austin movies, but hey, we can do it again with the Bond.
Yeah, it's happening for real now, and there's just and it's this perfect juxtaposition of so much chest hair and no chest hair at all.
I like this. And poor Daniel Craig Bond is like, "God, I wish I could be like you, wild and free."
Do you know how many waxings I have to go through to keep this trim?
Do you realize how much British pounds the taxpayers have put towards waxing all of this?
You'd think they would just spring for laser treatment. But
yeah, Bond is very afraid of lasers. He can't do that.
Good point.
And so they're on the beach, and yeah, I think, of course, Austin is immediately fascinated by like all of these gadgets that Bond has and everything. And I think that, he maybe presses his butt like, "Ooh, what does this shagadelic thing do?" And he presses it. And just that like weird flotation device from Octopussy comes and like envelops them. And it's just like in the actual movie where it's like he has champagne and low lighting and a little bit of music, but Daniel Craig is like, "This wasn't intended for you." It's like, it's still pretty groovy, baby. Like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Now, if they both sleep together and they both have this problem where the person they sleep together dies at the end of the movie, which one of them's gonna die?
Oh no! There's a major flaw, or maybe this is how it ends. This is how the cycle breaks. Is that because neither one of them can die? Because James Bond can't die.
Maybe that's why they're perfect together. They can finally be with someone and they won't die.
This is the solution, and they learned this solution. This has all been a scheme of Dr. Evil's to like make sure that their loves cannot survive. That's why Quantum of Solace was so bad, was because they broke the pattern for one movie, and Doctor was like, "This is the curse that I have placed upon you." I'm putting a pinky up to my face. You can't see it at home.
I love this. It's like, that is his evil plan. It's like, "No, you see, I figured out the convention. By sleeping together, both Bond and Austin Powers will die." And then it's literally, as he's finishing this grand speech, Austin Powers and fucking James Bond kick open the door of the secret lair, and Austin Powers is like, the one thing you weren't counting on, Dr. Evil, is the power of love. Very groovy.
Yeah, the power of love, baby.
Dude, Greg, you just wrote like a hit scene. But like, just one change or clarification, they are both topless.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, in the rush to get into their clothes so that they can do this, they've switched into each other's outfits. So Bond is in full, like, shagadelic 60s era, and Austin is just in the little skinny bathing suit. I don't know how we got these mixed up, baby. Heat of the moment, I suppose.
And we just that's how you put Dr. Evil in jail. Is like you caught him, he's foiled. He wasn't planning on them coming back from this. He thought they would just cut to dead the next morning.
Yeah, but the love canceled it out.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
I love it.
It's beautiful. That's like a great first movie that these two have just lived through. But, like, here's the real test. That movie has ended. Not where Dr. Evil thought it would, but the movie's over. Do they and does their love survive into the sequel?
Or do they go back to their own universes?
I mean, look, The Spy Who Shagged Me, the sequel, like, Austin Powers sequel, the first one, arguably as good as if not better than the first.
Yeah.
James Bond has had 26 movies.
Yeah.
Or is it 23 movies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that
22?
question of, is it time to retire for James Bond? Like, maybe this is the send-off that he's been looking for. Like,
oh, that's the trick. He doesn't die, but he retires.
Oh.
yeah, because Austin Powers, like, as far as we know, knock on wood for either direction, depending on how you want this to go, isn't coming out of retirement. So if this is
Broadway musical.
This is Austin Powers reboot.
This is Austin Powers' One Last Job.
Oh, that's a great title.
That's One Last Job.
This totally fits into the James Bond canon right now because Craig has one more movie and then he's passing it off in this next movie. He's passing off 007 to a young woman.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we have to ship the new Doctor Who and the new James Bond women together.
But this is totally where James Bond's gonna go in the next movie. This is the sequel. This is the news they don't tell you until you're in the theater for the next James Bond movie. Is that Austin Powers is in it too, and they go off.
That
and
should
retire.
be the surprise.
Yeah.
It should be a surprise.
And Austin Powers has completed his arc in this movie because what is more like radically woke than passing off your job to a woman? He's like, I did it, baby. I made him retire and pass the torch to a very groovy, capable woman. Yeah, no, it's great. They retire to a posh penthouse in London and like, they both get to fucking just party for the rest of their days. And they're swingers, like, through and through. They are banging everything.
So everybody's
that moves.
happy, right?
Yeah.
Except for the women, but...
No, but this is the thing that Austin Powers is bringing to it. He brings free love and the idea of everyone just consenting and acknowledging that we're in an open thing here.
So yeah, they are happy women because they're happy to be, they're consenting.
Yeah, they know everyone's acknowledging what they're getting into. They don't think that like they've fallen for this one British supermodel who's then just like leaves them for dead the next day.
They have a reputation. Everybody knows how they work.
They know what happens when you get to the Bond Powers residence. Bond hyphen Powers.
In fact, people go on vacation there just for that reason.
Oh, yeah. There's a very... Oh, man. That penthouse elevator is very busy. Let's turn this 007 into a 0069.
That's where we're ending this segment. I can think of no better way to finish this. We just have to ask one question. Susan, we'll start with you. Do you ship it?
Ship it and greenlight it again.
Greg?
I want to get into that penthouse, baby. Yeah, I want to see what all the commotion is about. I ship it.
Groovy. Yes, I ship it. We all ship it. We've done some beautiful shipping today. But we're not done yet. We still have to do our wonderful Matchmaker segment. So I hope you're ready for this one. Stick around. We're going to take a quick break and then come right back. And we're back, and it's time for our Matchmaker segment, where our guest Susan has brought us a single from fiction that our matchmaking service is only too ready to help out. So, Susan, who have you brought us today to find love for?
I literally brought you someone. Here
she is. She's walking in the room right now.
She's walking in right now.
This is a first here at the Ships of the Night matchmaking service.
Yes. This is my friend Cathy. You know Cathy from the cartoon. Oh. The one in the 80s. The one where she's going through the 4 guilt groups. Shopping, eating, dating, and her mother. Hey, Cathy, say hello. I was promised chocolate.
Well, Cathy,
good luck, boys.
Cathy, thank you so much for joining us. I guess you could tell us what do you think? Like, what are you looking for in a man?
I want someone rich, someone baked.
Kathy, I believe you're describing cake. We need you. Okay,
I always do that.
This is going to be much more difficult than originally anticipated.
But you know what? I think we have some options for you. It's not chocolate cake straight up, but I think that you will be satisfied nonetheless.
I specifically asked for chocolate cake in my contract.
And we're working on it just so diligently, Kathy. We appreciate your patience.
Well,
oh boy!
I think we're gonna pitch you a couple people that we think you'd be perfect with. And Greg, if you'll let me, I'd love to go first.
Please do that.
So Cathy, here we go. I think that Cathy doesn't really have to look too far to find love, and that's just jump across the page of the comic strips to one Dilbert. Because look, who's gonna understand Cathy more at the true heart of who she is than Dilbert, who has dealt with the office ins and outs over the years more than anyone else besides Cathy herself. He knows the horrors of HR and the demons that run it. He knows what it's like to grind day in and day out, have to book the conference room, then your boss takes the conference room. He knows what it's like. He's there to listen at the end of the day. This is a nice, quiet, simple relationship, but Dilbert's a good guy. He's gonna have chocolate at home. He's probably just gonna click on Amazon and have a refilling subscription order. He knows how that stuff works. He's in tech. He might have designed it for all we know. I think Dilbert and Cathy, it's all just right there in print. Greg, I know that you have someone else in mind. So tell me, who are you thinking?
You want a man who's rich, a man who likes a chocolate, a man who understands the eccentrics of the world.
I think I just creamed my pants.
Well, speaking of cream, I want to hook Cathy up with one Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, not only does this man provide Cathy with an unlimited supply of chocolate, all the candy and sweets and good stuff that she can eat, but also this is someone who understands that Cathy's a little bit crazy and a little bit eccentric. And he is going to find, I think, comfort in just how down-to-earth and emotional that Cathy can be, because he spends his entire day around Oompa Loompas and these crazy singing characters. He just wants to go home with someone who's ready to watch some TV and hang out with a couple of puppies. That's Cathy and Willy Wonka to a T, baby.
You guys, Cathy just passed out when I told her he has a river of chocolate. Let me wake her up for you.
Well, we can let her rest. On behalf of your friend, do you have any questions for us?
I do have some questions on behalf of Cathy. Can Dilbert get rid of her mother?
That's a fair question. Yeah. Do you have anything for Willy Wonka over there?
Let's see. Willy Wonka, he's weird. He gives kids golden tickets. I don't know how Cathy feels about children. I think she's indifferent to children.
Oh, so that's a big component. Yeah, is how is she going to handle the magical children floating throughout the factory?
Oh, man, if a kid falls into her chocolate, forget it. That tube won't kill him. Cathy will. Is that going to be a lawsuit?
Okay.
All right.
That's something we have to deal with. Zach?
Yeah.
All right. So I think, yes, Dilbert could at least find ways to keep her out of the house, because Dilbert is a tech wizard, especially if you watch the Dilbert cartoon series, which I did. He knows how to whip up any kind of he whips crazy shower inventions. He could lock down that house to know when her mother's outside with facial recognition and hit it into just like top security mode. That's what Dilbert brings. More than Willy Wonka, he is somebody that she can come home to. This is a guy who brings his work home, and while yes, the chocolate is there, the crazy colors on every wall that's like tastes like passion fruit. No, sir.
It's a valid argument. I'll give you that.
All right.
I think I got a retort here. Willy Wonka hates children. He murders them, like, willingly and freely, and with surprisingly great glee.
Cathy's just another Oompa Loompa that lives there.
I mean, he really could mistake her, I think. It's just like the vaguely humanoid features is like, oh yeah, all right, well, I'm into this now. So I don't think that Cathy needs to worry about that with him. It's like, you know, kids, they might come into the factory every once in a while, but like, she can deal with that.
The music just said, ooh, yeah.
That's the buzzer sound.
Oh. How we know we need to shut up.
Well, we've given you all of the information that we can.
Yeah.
We got to set up Cathy with somebody. I don't know if she's going to wake up or not, but either way, Susan, who do you think we should set her up on a date with? We've got Willy Wonka. And we've got Dilbert.
I know.
About as opposite people as she could.
I know. It's so hard because Dilbert really did put up a good argument. But I mean, you can't. I mean, Willy Wonka, hands down. I mean, there's no. She's going to be floating on a tube in that chocolate river for like, you'll never be able to get her out of the chocolate river.
Yeah.
There probably won't be a chocolate river when she's done with it.
I don't know if Willy Wonka's going to put up with that, but they're going to have to hash that out together.
That's true. He might, I mean, Willy Wonka might not be happy, but Cathy is going to be thrilled.
That's all we're concerned with at this dating service.
You know, I'm rooting for Cathy's happiness, so...
Willy Wonka is not the client, Cathy is the client.
Yeah, sorry, but Dilbert really did put up a good fight. So I would, if she was just dating, I would say have her date both. But you know,
we can only choose one.
You can only choose one. I have to say Willy Wonka.
Yeah, and when I can see if we set them both up on it, like she goes out on a date with each of them, she's like, "Well, of course I'm going to go with the chocolate guy."
I know, yeah. I mean, give her an everlasting gobstopper. I mean, maybe she won't eat his chocolate. She'll have a gobstopper in her mouth for the rest of her life. And then maybe she doesn't talk anymore because her mouth is full of gobstoppers. Now everyone's happy.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm mean to Cathy. I love her.
Well, we're wrapping out the show. Thank you, Susan, so much for joining us.
Yeah, you guys were so much fun.
And we know that you love Cathy, and I feel like there's more that people can learn about Cathy and you together.
Yeah.
Where could they go for such a thing?
Well, of course, social media. I'm on YouTube at When Susan Calls. I'm on Twitter at Sassers_. SASSERS_. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Susan Sassi. That's Susan Sassi with an I. SASSI. Because Facebook wouldn't let me use a Y.
And you have a whole web series about Cathy.
I do. My whole web series. I've got 2 seasons of a web series with Cathy on YouTube. Under When Susan Calls. But if you go to my Instagram or my Twitter, the little link to the website should be there.
All right.
If not, feel free to DM me and I'll get
Well, so if you didn't get enough Cathy today, there's even more on the internet for you. Greg, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the tweets at Greg Goodness. You can also find me performing occasionally at the Pack Theater in beautiful, sunny Hollywood, California.
And I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. Be sure to follow the podcast itself on Twitter and Instagram as well at Shipping Pod. Not it's sort of like a pod that you would ship things in, but we got it first. We've been followed by several people who are active members of the freight shipping community recently. Thank you for joining us for a different kind of ship. Until next time, guys, this has been Ships in the Night, casting off.